What is the proper conduct for leaders when we adapt to changing times? Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. And we're going to continue today talking about basics, about leadership, about adapting to changing times in these special times that we have right now facing the invisible enemy, the coronavirus. And I was inspired on this particular topic, not the coronavirus, but this particular version of it, because one thing is, whenever you're in a difficult scenario, the first step is always to go back to basics. That's number one. So we're continuing with that right now as we did on our last video. But today I'm kind of inspired by one of my favorite pundits out there, Simon Sinek. And Simon Sinek put out last week, and it had nothing to do with the virus, it was just talking about business, but I couldn't help but think about how it correlates to exactly the scenario that we're finding ourselves in right now, right this minute. And the title of his little video, and it's very short, was How to Adapt to Changing Times. All right? And he's referring to business. And the points that he makes, and then I'm going to apply these points to our present scenario. The points he makes is, think of a company like Netflix. Netflix, for all intents and purposes, invented the streaming industry. Why wasn't the movie industry or the TV industry the people that invented that? Well, because 12% of their income came from late fees. And what they were doing is they were protecting their existing model. Same thing as, why did a computer company invent iTunes, and why did it not come from the music industry? The music industry was protecting their sales to places like Tower Records and protecting album sales. They're too busy protecting the current business model. The key thing is you got to think about reaching the end result, the end user, without being handcuffed by the present modus operandi or the present paradigm. You got to start from scratch. You got to think of the end user, and you can't deny changes that are undeniably coming very, very soon. The end user is drawn to what's most effective for them, and they don't care about protecting the existing model. Do you see the parallels to our present situation? Clearly, as I speak right now, I think it's about, close to 100 million people that have been ordered to stay inside. And rightly so. I mean, we need to nip this thing in the bud and do what it takes. Now, I don't know at each necessary step how effective this one's going to be, but the point is, you got to take massive action, as we discussed in our last video, and you're going to succeed with trial and error. This is the way things get solved, and it has to be a unified movement. So, these are the steps that are being taken right now. So, one of the things that we have to understand is that we are becoming leaders, whether you like it or not. You, as the head of household, the head of your family, in charge of your children, people in charge of different organizations, are leaders. And so what are the things that leaders have to do? Now, keep in mind, in troubled times, people are absolutely starved for leadership. They are looking to be led. Once again, we got a 95% unsuccessful, 5% successful. The 5%ers think one way, they all think the same way, do the same things. The 95%ers think the same way, do the same things, but they're different. And the 95%ers are looking to the 5%ers. What is it that we should do to go from where we are to where we need to be in these troubled times? And the first thing that an effective leader does is he stops finger pointing. Can we stop finger pointing, please? Please, let's stop calling it the China virus. Let's stop pointing fingers. It doesn't matter where it started. What matters is it's here, it's now, and we have to be effective with it. And all you do with finger pointing is you alienate a certain group of people, you cause friction among the masses. What we need is unity. Finger pointing does not generate unity. Finger pointing is something that generates disharmony. And in these troubled times, the number one thing that we're looking for is a harmony of purpose so that we can accomplish our goals. Now, let's talk a little bit. I want to give you, because some of you have not been leaders before, and you're going to find yourself in that position of leadership where you're the head of your family and you have to tell your child, hey, you can't go outside and play basketball. I'm sorry, it's not something you can do. But Dad, it's not going to affect me. Guess what? You have to look out for the common good. We have to act as a team. Now, the other thing that's going to happen is you're going to have members of your household, people on your quote-unquote team that are significantly unnerved, and you can certainly understand the why and because of that. So what do you do? How do you act? What's the right procedures to enact? All right, first of all, here's some good news. Most of you have already done this. You've already done this. I want you to go back and I want you to think in your mind when you had a child who came running to you and they're all upset about everything and they're out of breath and they're talking like this. All right, and so what do? What's the first thing that you do? You say, sweetheart, calm down. Daddy's here or mommy's here. Calm down. Take a deep breath. Getting excited isn't going to solve anything. So let's take a deep breath together. So the first thing you do is you calm the people down. And the first thing that you do is you show them that you are in control. And in order to be in control of others, you have to be under control yourself. Just as they say on the airplane, if we lose oxygen and the mask comes down, put your mask on first and then put the mask on your child. You have to be under control to be in control. So you've done this before. All you have to do is mature it up a little bit. Think about that. Now, I'm getting a little bit tired of watching the daily briefings, and every time I hear a daily briefing, one of the things is, oh, we're doing everything that we can, we did the great things, it's not our fault, and because we did this. All right, we're not interested in you patting yourself on the back. What we're interested in is results. I'm not interested in your resume. Just as someone that's a business leader and the business is going down the tubes, I'm not interested in all the courses that you take, all the seminars that you attended, or all of what I'm interested in is, are we getting results? What are the steps that we're taking? These are the steps that we're taking. This is the why and because we're taking them. And I don't know 100% that everything's going to work, but this is what we've elected to do to try to get the job done. Can we have some honesty? Can we have some transparency? Can we have some truth? And when we do, then what will happen is you formed a bond known as trust. And when you have that, then you can get things done with the leadership and the masses working together as one. And that's what we need in our leadership. Now, I want you to think about this. This isn't the first time we've had a scenario like this. During World War II, and younger people probably don't know a whole lot about this. I wasn't around for this, Eli, but it's famous. During World War II, there were very, very troubled times. We were worried about rationing. We're worried about, have you ever heard the expression, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself? That came from this particular era. All right? As a matter of fact, I think President Roosevelt, FDR, was the one that coined that phrase. And what did FDR do to unify and get the entire nation, the United States, working as one? Well, they used to do a thing called a Fireside Chat, where he would be, now the medium that they used at that particular time was the radio. And so he would be sitting in his den or wherever it was in the White House with the fire burning, and be sitting there and calmly talking to the nation. Hey people, we're gonna win this. We're gonna work together. These are the steps we're gonna take. What we need everybody to do is to remain calm, and we're going to take some action. So we're going to take some action. We've thought it out. We're working it out. And if that action doesn't work, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do something else. But we're going to keep trying until we get it. But the key thing is we have to remain calm and take decisive action. People are starving for leadership. Starving for leadership. Leaders, Washington, would you please go back and take a look at some of these fireside chats and see the calming influence that it had? Instead, there's not finger pointing, there's not blame. What there is production. And we need to be proactive and not reactive. Everything we do so far, what I've seen is reaction. Can we stop that, please? Let's be proactive. Let's take some good measures. Let's anticipate what's going to happen, and let's take steps in that direction. Now, I want to give you an example and prove to you how people starve for leadership. And when I think about that, the thing that I think about was when I used to be a coach of a frosh soft team in high school. Now, these kids are freshmen and sophomores, obviously, and they're 13, 14, maybe 15 years old. And are you familiar with boys that are 13, 14, and 15 years old? What do? Well, they yak, talking all the time. You know, hey, quiet down. You know, I would say when I got fed up with them in practice, I would blow the whistle and say, on the line, and I'd make them run sprints. And then guess what? When I said quiet down, what do you suppose happened the next time? They were quiet. But we worked as a team. That was the thing that was instilled into them is we have to work together as a team. Now, here's the example I want to show to you and prove to you that people are starving for leadership and how a leader should act. We're playing a game, and the game is coming down. It's like the fourth quarter, and the game is tied. And we have the ball. There's like 12 seconds left. Timeout, timeout, timeout. Okay, I call a timeout. All right, so I can organize the troops and get everybody on the same page because we want to be in position to win this game. So now, do you remember when you were in high school where they had the bleachers, the really steep bleachers that would go up? Well, that's what we had at this school. So anyway, I call the timeout. The kids run over. They sit on the very first bench. I get down. I'm on my knees. I take out my chalk, and I draw the little the key area and start putting X's and O's. I'm thinking like, excuse me, what play am I going to call? What are we going to do? What are the kids ready to do? How can they perform? So on and so forth. So I'm thinking that, and the kids are on the bench, and they're absolutely, without exception, all looking down like this at the picture that I'm drawing, and they're all 100% quiet. No one is saying a word. They're all thinking to themselves, okay, coach, this is it. What do we do now? All right? So that's their thinking. So I look up and I see the kids. Now, this is the frosh soft team. So guess what? Behind the kids, sitting directly behind the kids in the next bench, are all of their parents. And all of their parents are sitting there like this, and they're looking down, and they're right over their kids' heads, and they're all wide-eyed, and they're thinking to themselves, okay, coach, what are we going to do? All right? So here I am. I sit down, I look up, I see the kids, I see the parents. I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, what is this? All right? But having been somebody that, played high school ball, played college ball, had some coaching experience, I was calm. I knew what to do. I drew out the play, so on and so forth. But I have to be calm. I say, all right, this is what we're going to do. This is the way I want to do it. You have different options here. I want you to be aware. Is everybody clear on what we're going to do? Clear, concise, definite direction. That's my point. Given in a calm manner. Isn't that the way somebody coaches? Because you know what to do. You're confident, and guess what? The play doesn't always work. Just like in life, what you try doesn't always work, but you know what? You use it to build from. So anyway, we went out and I called the play, and lucky for us, the play worked, and everybody jumped on everybody, and it was a happy ending. But the point is, as a leader, you have to be in control of yourself to be under control of others. You have to, as I couldn't sit there during that timeout and say, if you didn't turn the ball over, or if you didn't miss that foul shot, or if you didn't make that bad pass, we wouldn't be in this position. We would have won the game already. That's finger pointing. Would that help during that final timeout to win the game? No. What wins the game instead is saying, all right, you set a really, really good screen. This is what I want you to do. That's why we're putting you in that position. You're the best rebounder. I want you to be ready to jump on the board, to jump on the ball. So in case the ball is missed, I want you to... All right, so you're encouraging your people. You're not finger pointing with them. You're setting up a game plan. You're setting up the play. Can we please do that with this coronavirus? Can our leadership grasp what is necessary? Let's keep calm. Let's be under control. Let's give clear, concise, definite direction. Let's move forward. Let's understand that everything doesn't work all the time. And you know what? If it doesn't, then we're going to try something else. But you know what? We're going to win this game. So, you as the leader of your family, you as the leader of an organization, keep these basic leadership tenets in mind. That is the way effective leaders lead. And let's realize that we are going to be in a scenario where we're going to have some significant changes. Definitely going to be some significant changes. So let's not look at the scenario the way it was. Let's look at it the way it is. And the schools have started to do that. They're saying, look, we can't teach in school. The kids can't come to school. So we're going to get on the internet and we're going to maybe have classrooms. We're going to have assignments, so on and so forth. But all of our businesses, all of the things that we need to survive need to start thinking in that direction. They need to start thinking like the end user and not protect the structure that was set up in different times. Because as things advance or as things deteriorate, times change and changes have to be made. And the right way to think about getting the job done is what is going to be most effective for the end user. And towards that end, we need good leadership above anything else. And because we will never end our meeting on a philosophical note, let's get out there, take some clear, concise, definite action, and charge! I'm Eli's dad.